Alright y'all, what's up? Turbo LS Dakota here again. Got the Tin Soldier race cars anti-roll bar kit with the stamped steel arms to install today. Just a little overview of the kit. Comes with the mounts for the tube. Comes with the actual weld-on mounts to mount to your bar, or you can cut them flat if you have a spot there on your chassis for it. Comes with the tabs for the axle, all the hardware you would need, both halves of the arms and the inserts, the two end links, and then I got came with a little Tin Soldier shop rag, which is pretty cool. So we're gonna get cranking on the installation of this thing. Got some pretty rusty ass tube, but we're gonna roll with it. Just clean it off, cut it up, weld it in, and try and get this anti-roll bar knocked out today. Never said I was a good welder. I just can weld. Hot. Ow. welded. It's ugly, but I'm fairly confident it'll hold. Time will tell. Got a little progress update. Got the cross brace for the anti-roll bar installed, welded, fully welded. Threw a coat of paint on it because it was kind of rusty material, but that's fully installed. Now I'm gonna weld the end links, the arms or the end links, whatever you want to call them. Weld those in the spots I marked out. And now I don't know if this is right, but I'm using the whole length of the tube and putting the bushings on the end and having the links where they line up on the rear end, since my center section isn't center of the truck. It's offset. So if the anti-roll bar does start walking one direction or the other, just put a tab at the end of where this bushing sits. Just weld a little tab right here to hold the anti-roll bar in place, and then the links will be like that. It's a little easier for me to just use the full length of the tube instead of trying to make it work or the correct length of this, and figured I'd just use the whole length of the tube. Once again, don't know if that's right, but it's the way I'm doing it. Alright, I got the anti-roll bar all welded out. As you can see, it ain't the prettiest thing on the planet, but I think it'll hold. Now I just gotta let it cool off, and we can final mount it in the truck. Get the, here we are. Get the end links measured up. Get the end links measured up after I weld these tabs onto the axle. I'll measure for the end links at ride height. So I'll set the truck down on the ground, set the anti-roll bar parallel. From what I've understood, you want this bar sitting parallel at ride height. So we'll measure for the length of these boys at ride height with all the weight on the truck. Probably simulate my own weight to measure for these, but it'll be okay. I'll be able to adjust that with the rod ends. And then that will be a completed anti-roll bar install on my junk. Got the axle tabs welded in. My MIG welder's giving me fits right now. The liner's all worn out, so it's not feeding as well as it could, but that side turned out decent. Slapped a little paint on it while it was still hot. Nice little powder coat on there. Tabs are welded on, and our roll bar's in. Once again, I don't know if the way I have it set up is right, but if it moves, I'll just put a little piece of probably this same thickness material right up against the shoulder of this bushing on each side, just to keep it in place. Fairly certain that's not right, but I got a little ahead of myself and ended up doing it this way, so it's what I'm stuck with now. I'm gonna have to make it work. Alright, so what I'm doing here is I measured edge of this bevel to the rough center of this rod end on both of them. And that came out to be 1 13/16 from the center, roughly, of this hole to the edge of this bevel on both of them. That's 3 5/8 total. And my measurement with the anti-roll bar level and the truck at ride height with the cow tracks neutraled out, no preload, was 6.5 center to center. So I just subtracted the 3 5/8 from the 6.5, and that gave me 2 7/8. So I need a 2 7/8 inch long piece of tube to then add these rod ends back into to give me the total length that I need. Alright, so I got the tubes cut. As you can see, it's roughly, probably not perfectly centered, but it's roughly 6.5 center to center. Both pieces of tubing are cut. Now it's time to just build them up. Alright, so what I ended up doing with these was, I didn't like how the weld was turning out with filler. So I have 3 30-seconds filler, probably a little thick for this. So I ended up just pulse fusion welding. Focus, and it came out a lot better. Still a little bit of undercut. Got a little hot, but the weld came out cleaner. It definitely got less hot than here, because you can see it's kind of graying out. It got too hot. And then here, it's got a little more color to it. Got a little gray here, but didn't get as hot on this end with the pulse. So let these cool for a second, I'll be able to throw them in. Alright, so there it is. Tin Soldiers anti-roll bar kit installed in the 88 Dakota. I left the bottom bolts loose so that when I get time before the next test day I can set them. I need to either need to sit in the truck and have someone set them, or stack weight equivalent to my body weight in the driver's seat to set them. And the way I'm going to set them, at least as a baseline, is neutral. So the way they are now, and they have free movement back and forth. That's the way I'm going to set them with the weight of myself in the truck. And we'll see what it does. Hopefully it doesn't twist as much. And it's a little more stable. That's the main thing I'm going for, is the truck being more stable. And I should be able to cut better 60-foots with this. Be able to pull more power to the ground off the line. So a lot of that power is being taken up in the twist right now. So this should help me. Plus that bar back there is more stiffness in the chassis. And I also left my cow tracks loose. I will also set those to neutral as well when I have time. And I either have someone to help me, or I have my body weight and weight in the truck. And I can set everything, and then we'll take it to the track and test it.